A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, eyes and ears of the internet. Welcome to episode 5 of Nerd Lives Matter, the podcast for outcasts. We're back. We're still here. And yeah, as usual, it is myself, your usual hosts. I'm Podracing. And with me, as usual, is your other host, Watto's wife. Uh, we're here today to talk nerdy to you, as usual. How are you guys doing? You can't respond because this isn't a live stream, so whatever. Today, we are going to be talking comics, as usual, movie trailers. This has been a really good week for movie trailers. We got a whole crap load of them. We got Star Trek, we got Tarzan, we got X-Men, we got a lot. So we're going to be going over those. What else happened this week? Wasn't there something else that happened this week?
Yeah, there was something, wasn't there? Shit. We were supposed to go somewhere and do something with a thing.
I don't remember what it was.
God damn it. I'm sure it'll come back to us.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either way, like, there was this new Star Wars movie that came out that we checked out.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about that. It's going to be all spoiler-free. We are going to be doing a spoiler review of it. We both got to see it. We're going to be doing that, but we have so much to say and so much that we thought about that we're just going to do it. It's going to be its own video that's going to be up later on. Hopefully, if not tomorrow, the next day, soon within the next week. Hopefully you guys are getting off your lazy asses, going to watch this movie, and you can come back and enjoy it with us. Until then, though, you can listen, watch. Whatever it is that you do to this podcast, hopefully it's all, above board and, not creepy. But whatever it is that you do to this podcast, listen to it because it's going to be our spoiler-free review. We're foregoing Rebel Roundup for that. So, yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot else to talk about because I think we're so anxious and there's so much anticipation for us to go into this. So, Rebel Roundup is going to be extended, and it is beginning now, man. What did you think? All spoiler-free. What did you think?
Oh boy, I am still numb. Really, I've been numb since I saw it because, I had said some time ago that my definition of a good movie was the moments that stick with you, and walking out of that theater, it all stuck with me.
Yeah.
I mean, every moment just soaked into the core of my being, and I couldn't even, walking out of the theater, I couldn't tell you if I loved the movie or hated it at that moment because my mind was fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just in a weird place. I mean, it was beautiful. And on a personal level, I'd like to say to J.J. Abrams and Lawrence Kasdan and Mike Arndt, you magnificent, monstrous, evil, beautiful, lovely bastards.
Seriously, yeah.
I love you and hate you all at once.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because that's something that, that love and that hate is real. Luckily, though, the hate has nothing to do with the quality of the film or the quality of the story. It has nothing to do with that, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
But, however, that hate is definitely well-deserved. But it's a loving hate, right?
Like, it is.
You can't help but love the fact that they pulled those tricks out of their hats.
It's true, and I know we're both kind of doing the pee-pee dance to say things and do things. We really are, because there's just things, man. It's things.
It's all the things. All the things are in this movie.
Such things. Such amazing
so
things.
Many things, yeah, man. So you fucking played hooky at work. You went to go see that, right? Like, you left work and then came back and...
I did. Yeah. I pulled some shit. It was great, I took my lunch, and God willing, nobody at work ever watches this, but I took my lunch, and then I was just doing it. Well, it all kind of germinated from my boss, so he can be blamed for this. We had a meeting at like 9 o'clock in the morning. It's like, dude, why are you here? Aren't you supposed to be watching a movie? And I was like, hey, you're right. I should be.
Your boss said it.
Hey, he said it, so I mean, it's legit from there.
It's all canon.
Exactly.
That's pretty funny.
Speaking of which, I think we can kind of go without spoiling and say, can we? that
Can we?
can we
What are you talking about?
just some of the elements that not specific elements, but for those of us that were worried about the EU.
Mm, okay, let me take this because I don't. Let me say
I'll
it like
probably
this.
fuck it up.
Yeah, let me say this. Um, fuck, I'm really like I don't know how to put this because I don't want anything spoiled. I think even just the antsiness that we have right now is possibly gonna be spoilery. But let me put it like this: they definitely had some respect for certain elements of what came through the expanded universe before it was wiped out for this new thing.
That's what
Well,
I was gonna say, some more or less. I wasn't gonna be like,
oh yeah, I don't want any, but because there's been people have spoiled people already, and it's I know normally we're all about fucking spoilers. That was one thing that we do is we're all
yeah,
about spoilers, but
we're trying to hold our tongue very carefully
yeah,
here.
yeah.
It's a tightrope.
It was fun though. It was very fun, and the fact that they did show such respect for some elements of the expanded universe gives me hope that maybe they'll show more respect for further elements of the expanded universe in the future movies.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, enough of dancing that enough of walking that line of spoilery, non-spoilery stuff. Um, Man, so what was the experience for you? What was the experience for you sitting down? It's been a decade since you last saw Clone Wars doesn't count. Since you saw Revenge of the Sith, a real true live Star Wars movie. What was the experience for you like?
I was terrified, because I remembered walking out of the Phantom Menace, and I thought that Star Wars was dead to me right then and there. I really did. And each experience afterwards, Clone Wars, I walked out of it like, oh well, okay, it wasn't as bad, yeah. And then Sith, I was like, all right, okay, better, better, better. But something died that day that I saw the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
When I walked out, I was with my sister, and we were just like, what? And she really wasn't much into Star Wars, so she kept asking me these questions, and the more questions I answered, the worse I felt about it. So, and so walking into that there was this feeling of terror that I was going to experience this again.
Yeah.
And being by myself, it wasn't really a very party atmosphere. This was serious business for me. This was like life and death. This was like, if this is bad, I'm done.
Yeah.
I couldn't, do anything else. And from the opening crawl, I mean, I will be the first to admit I was sinning it like crazy. I really was. I was catching every little nuance and telling myself, oh, there's a ding, there's a ding. I'm a big CinemaSins fan, so I mean, it was just natural to me. But every sin was just like, shut up, dude. No, it's no big deal. This is great, and it just, and in my mind, it started trailing off to where towards, halfway through the movie, I wasn't even sinning. I was just like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and there was so much respect at that, during that time that I had for what was going on, that it made me feel like, I was 10 years old running into the living room again, waiting for that 20th Century Fox thing to come on.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, everything was falling back into place. It felt just renewing. It was
Yeah.
just absolutely renewing. The tone, the texture. I was in love again. That's the best way to put it. I fell in
Nice.
love again.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Now it's being thrown around a lot, but the quote is true. Star Wars is back. I mean, it feels like the original trilogy. It feels like that lived-in universe. I mean, it feels dirty and it feels grimy and it feels very, very real. Like as much as you want to talk about Jedi, as much as you want to talk about like spaceships and aliens and things like that, it feels incredibly real. It's because it's not about the fancy special effects. It's not about it's about the characters, is what it is, and these characters are all amazing. The new cast is freaking badass. I love Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron's my boy. But yeah, for me it was we went last night. We went to the second showing of the night at the Palladium. It was a 9 p.m. showing. We got there and it reminded me a lot of the Phantom Menace. Back when that first premiered, I went. My mom let me skip school. It was me, my mom, my sister, and my 1 month old nephew. And people were plotting. There were lightsabers. And this time, yeah, as soon as the opening crawl came, I'm not gonna lie, man, I was misty eyed. I had butterflies in my stomach. As soon as the crawl hit, my heart started pounding, and I was like, oh my god, it's happening. And then the movie starts, and the way it starts, man, it had me really really feeling awesome. Every time some like a legacy character would come on screen, or every time something that called back to the original trilogy would come on, people would cheer. It was a really good time, and yeah, man, these characters, they I don't want to say they felt like analogs of the old characters, because they really are kind of doing a different thing, um, an organically an organic continuation type thing, which I'm really really happy for. But these actors, man, they knocked it out of the park. They knocked it the hell out of the park, man. I love John Boyega. I thought he was really good. Daisy Ridley was really good, especially knowing that she hadn't really been in anything before. And Oscar Isaac, I haven't seen him in much, but what I have seen him in before has been really cool. And he was, like I said, Poe Dameron's my boy, man. He was awesome in this. But yeah, what were your thoughts on sort of the story, the plot, everything else, or just what are you feeling about this whole thing?
Well, one thing that, and you touched on it, of course, one thing that really, really stood out to me, it did not have that polished sheen that the prequels had. And, I didn't I didn't know that I had missed it until I saw it. The tone and the texture of The Force Awakens, it was just like you had said, grittier, grimier, a little darker, than everything in the prequels were. And I gotta say, I'm a CGI kind of guy, dude. I love a good computer effect. So, that was one thing that I really kind of dug in the prequels was, there was some really cool CGI effects. That's great. That's awesome. But, when it's adding to the flaws of the movies themselves, that's when it starts to take a back turn. So the fact that they went back to a more earthy kind of, feel really, really, really hit home because it was like, hey, this is what I grew up with. This was how it meant to be made, and you can make a great movie without having to throw $1 billion into computer effects
Yeah,
or everybody acting behind a green screen, which
yeah,
that's got to be ridiculous. I bet they had so much better of a time filming this movie. I bet it felt so much more organic, and you can tell in the actual performances, that it was more real, it was more organic than the wooden, stiff green screen kind
yeah,
of plastic sheen that the prequels had. And it was that's what the prequels could be basically boiled down to was plastic.
yeah.
Everything was so stiff and plastic to the acting, the effects, the everything. I mean, yeah, it was pretty, but it wasn't organic. And this just brought it home. This felt real to me.
Yeah, it reminded me of a lot of old Amblin flicks, man, the
Yeah,
Steven
yeah,
Spielberg flicks. And I know obviously it's a George Lucas thing, and it really does remind me of the original trilogy, which of course are all George Lucas stuff. But and of course everybody knows J.J. Abrams and Spielberg, they have their whole connection and stuff. But this really brought it back, not just to like the Amblin feel, but sort of the right now, just thinking about this, it's reminding me of like movies like Labyrinth, in the sense of it's all real, it's all practical. You know what I mean? Some of the actors when they're interacting with certain things, it's like you can tell, not to the detriment of anything, but you can tell that it's a puppet, or you
mhm,
can tell that it's somebody in a costume. You can tell that it's something that's there and it's real. And while yeah, it's awesome because it's giving the actor something to interact with, on a physical, tangible level. We know that it's not CG. You can tell that it is something that's man-made, but that just adds to the charm of it. That adds to the feel that this is really going on. You know what I mean? It was awesome. I don't know how else to say other than yeah, it was a very tangible like when there are things moving across the screen, or when there are things, flying at the screen, and that it's not, some sort of vector effect that's coming at the camera, and it doesn't really exist. It's really just a glorified cartoon. No, when something hits and when something smashes, you can tell that it was something on set. You can hear the thud. You can see the reaction of the hand of the actors touching, whatever that object might be. It was just really, really cool. And the stuff that was CG in it, because obviously you can't do this fully practical.
Right.
The stuff that was CG was done so good. It was done so well. I think it was even made to look a little more crude, so as to fit with the practical effects, so as to fit with the rest of the practical effects, which is something that it blew me away. I think that the CG in this movie was so fantastic because it was a little more crude than you might see in any other movies.
Yeah, it was underwhelmed, I guess. It was
purposely
played down. Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of felt, and you mentioned Spielberg and the Amblin feel, and that kind of triggered the tone for me. Felt very E.T., very Indiana Jones kind of,
Goonies, even kind of. Yeah. It just feels like it feels like the movies that we grew up watching. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's important.
That's very important. Not because we own the rights to Star Wars, because we grew up with the original, not anything like that, but because I think those types of movies are far more honest than any of the movies are nowadays. Because nowadays you can sort of carry a theme, or you can carry an emotion, or you can carry a plot point, I'm wrong. You can't carry a theme, emotion, or plot point with CG. However, that's what the filmmakers of today, or a lot of filmmakers of today, try to do, and it just feels hollow. Whereas with this, because you're working sort of with, I don't want to say limited, because obviously they had a $3 trillion budget or whatever, but it puts sort of a limitation on the director themselves, and it's something that they know that they need to actually have story and character and action, or actors, actually emoting in order to sell the practical effects. And so there's a far deeper, or a far larger focus on a deeper story, a deeper emotion. And
it makes me wonder on just a personal level if there's some like bastard millennial out there going, "That's not my Star Wars, man."
Wow, would they be wrong for that? That's a
Where's
question.
the CGI?
Would they be wrong for that? Because
it's sad, but no, probably not. That's what they had.
That's what they grew up with.
Yeah, where's the color, man? It was in the Phantom Menace, that plane went down and shot like 10 miles. I don't know.
That's crazy to think about, because I've never thought about it like that way. Cause
the other side of the coin.
yeah. Fuck, man. But I mean, okay, if you're somebody who's thinking, well, that's not my Star Wars. Well, okay, objectively, would this Star Wars not be better just based on story? Because I mean, just like plot-wise, plot structure, film structure, pacing-wise, this is 10 times better than that. If you're going to look at it at like just textbook, objectively, this movie is a better movie than either of the three prequels, and then any of the three prequels. Yeah. So, I mean, if it's not your Star Wars, then congratulations, you got better Star Wars.
Yeah, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right, though. You're right. I don't know. It just popped in my head thinking, there's some bastard out there, who was 10 years old.
Not some millennial, just some bastard out there.
Now he's a bastard. He's gone from millennial to bastard just because he didn't like it. So whoever you are, fuck you. Anyway.
Dude, so, okay. Again, no spoiler.
You're making this difficult.
That opening crawl, though. Opening crawl.
It harkened back to a better day. That's the best I can put it,
No mention of trade routes, no mention of,
the geopolitical,
economical disputes.
Oh my God!
There was no war! Exclamation point.
It was like watching C-SPAN back then. It was ridiculous, and it was to the point. It was concise. It was definitely
let you know exactly what was going to happen, what the movie was about. And it was cool to read. It was like, oh, I feel like I'm actually reading a space fantasy, or reading, a bit of space fantasy.
And that first line grabbed you. It was like, aha.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. It was, I mean, and it, honestly, I mean, just in terms of theme, or not theme, but in terms of like setup, that's all you need. That one sentence that tells you that tells you the state that everything is in this story. You know, we're going to be dealing with at least maybe not through the whole trilogy, but at least this movie.
There's a central theme right there.
Yeah, it's 5 words, I think is what it was.
I got 4.
4, okay. Either way, in those words, it's, you know, it says more about the movie than any amount of expanded universe prose would have told you about anything from the prequel trilogy. And again, not dogging the prequel trilogy, but we have to at least compare because those are the last ones that we got. And those are the ones that we were hoping to avoid falling back into the pitfall of this time. And I mean, it succeeded. It succeeded. You're absolutely right in congratulating and thanking, you know, giving props to J.J. Abrams, Lawrence Kasdan, you know, Kathleen Kennedy for spearheading this. And, I mean, even Bob Iger, man, the head of Disney, the guy who was like, all right, well, let's get Kathleen Kennedy to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like, that dude, he's sitting on tons of money. He could do whatever the fuck he wants. And no, instead he's like, I really like Star Wars. Let's make Star Wars right. Let's
do it right. Yeah. You
so,
forgot Michael Arndt.
Well, I mean, Michael Arndt, he did it. He wanted to take 18 months to write a movie that they only had 6 months to write,
but he did have a hand.
He had a hand. He had a structure, but you know, once they brought Lawrence Kasdan on, he pretty much
they redid it. Yeah.
So I mean, cool. I mean, no, awesome. Michael Arndt, you know, cool.
He's great, but
yeah.
Well, I know that he had actually credit in the in the credits.
In the credits, yeah.
So I figured they took something of what he did and wrapped around that.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of just creditsy type stuff, everybody stuck around towards the end because we're so used to the whole stinger thing nowadays.
Yeah, I didn't. I knew it couldn't be.
And I mean, I knew that J.J. Abrams had been saying flat out, no,
yeah.
but he lied before. He's lied about Khan. And I was hoping, even if it wasn't like a stinger, maybe it'd be like a teaser for Rogue One or something. And nothing did come, and once I realized, like, okay, there's nothing coming, I kind of felt refreshing. It's like, yeah, this really is sort of old school, you know, and not everything needs a stinger. But I did going back to your whole thing about millennials, there were a bunch of kids, you know, younger guys.
Were they bitching about it?
They were pissed. Really, we stayed till the end of the credits for this? We didn't get anything?
God.
It's like, bro, you don't remember the days, you know, like...
Back in our day, when the movie was over, when the credits rolled, the movie was over.
Yeah. Even like in Back to the Future 2, there was no stinger. It was just after the movie ended. It was just a to be concluded. It wasn't after the credits. You know, it was like we expected nothing. And
it's not like it's not like the Galactic Empire and the Rebels went and had shawarma.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? They're not gonna do that.
No.
Space shawarma.
Yum.
But I mean. Yeah, without getting into spoilers, man, are there any other thoughts you might have? Any final thoughts?
I'm doing the pee-pee dance, man. I really want to say stuff, so I'm going to probably wrap it up there. You know, I think we both pretty much abundantly made our feelings super clear that this is just, it's what we've been waiting for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
You know, since 1999.
At least since 1999. Yeah, but same here. I mean, without going into you know, bad territories in the minefield, I think that pretty much sums up my spoiler-free thoughts on the movie. But we're gonna move on here. But like I said, we're gonna do a very spoilery review. Hopefully, we might be able to squeeze it in tonight. Maybe not, looking at the time. If not, we'll try to do it tomorrow. If not, maybe it might even be better. I don't know, this is just me thinking out loud now on the podcast, but maybe we can do it after we both see it again. You know, since we're both going to go see it again, you know, fairly soon.
Yeah.
But, well, yeah, if anything, it's not going to hurt for us to do maybe a spoiler review, first impression spoiler review, and then a full-on spoiler review. But either way, we'll let you guys know.
It'll be like a special edition of the podcast, so it doesn't really matter either. I just said special edition, too.
Yeah. I was going to call it an annual. But all right, so moving on from there, if you're only watching this or listening to this because you're a Star Wars fan, well, eat a dick. But we're now going to start talking about the other thing that we wanted to speak of. Like I said earlier, there has been a lot of trailers released this week, man. What did we get? We got the Harry Potter prequel. Or I don't know if it's prequel or sequel.
Whatever.
the Harry Potter
J.K. Rowling shit.
spin-off. We got well, let's see here. I got the list. Independence Day Resurgence.
Yes, yeah.
Independence Day Resurgence. Star Trek Beyond, which I think is probably going to take up the bulk because I think we both have a lot to say about that.
Yes, we do.
And then we also
So let's do the other ones first, and then go to Star Trek.
Yeah, and we'll even because I wanted to talk also about X-Men Apocalypse, but we'll do that before Star Trek. And then I don't know if I saw the trailer for Legend of Tarzan. I'm not too.
I didn't even see it.
Oh yeah, looks interesting. I wanted to actually bring it up because it stars Alexander Skarsgård from.
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah,
True
from,
Blood.
True Blood. It's got Margot Robbie, who is the new Harley Quinn, and it's also directed by David Yates, who directed the last couple Harry Potter flicks. He is directing Suicide Squad. And he's also directing the next trailer that I want to talk about, which is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So that's 3 movies that he's got, and I'm wondering if maybe that's why Tarzan and Suicide Squad look so weird, or Suicide Squad just looks bad, just because he's kind of spread thin. Those are 3 of his movies all coming out, next year. So, but I don't know. I love his Harry Potter movies, and I love the fact that he's going back into the Harry Potter world with Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and that's one of the only reasons that I'd want to go check out Suicide Squad, honestly, in the theater. But even then, I probably won't. But yeah, either way, The Legend of Tarzan, Christoph Waltz, who's amazing in everything, Samuel Jackson, I don't know the plot line to it. This is one of the few trailers that actually doesn't give away the plot, but it also just kind of, the movie itself looks kind of messy. So, I don't know, it's out there. Go watch it. If you like it, let us know what you like about it. I'm not going to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
You said you didn't even watch it, right?
I didn't even watch it. I saw the little poster for it, and I was like, oh, okay, Alexander Skarsgård, sure, but didn't really put too much into it.
Yeah.
I did check out all of the other ones we had talked about: the Independence Day, X-Men Apocalypse, the Fantastic Beasts.
What did you think about that Independence Day trailer?
I want to like it because I'll be honest, I loved Independence Day back in the day. It was what I watched it like ad nauseum for a long time. It was just cool. It was hokey, and I'm a closet Jeff Goldblum fan.
Oh, I'm not closet about it at all. Like
I love Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I'm sad that he doesn't really do much anymore. But
maybe he'll be in Jurassic World too.
Is he?
That'd be nice.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
But I want to like this. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't go the route of most sequels that come along after a movie's been out for 15, 20 years, and then they're just picking it back up. It becomes bloated. It becomes very corporate. Not that Independence Day wasn't very corporate if you look really, really hard.
Yeah.
But, it's just a very...
Force Awakens didn't.
Hey.
No, but it's funny because...
Other than the fact that you couldn't take a shit without seeing something fucking Star Wars being advertised.
Well, not only that, but if this movie does end up sucking, it's because this is the prequel era of the Independence Day franchise. It's the original, and then they got to do this was the prequel version, and then in another 10 years they'll do the awesome Force Awakens one.
Yeah, the Independence Day Awakens or some shit. Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's not prequel though. It's sequel. So
that is true. Yeah.
We're in dangerous waters, and I did notice the absence of Will Smith. So
his character, and this isn't really a spoiler. It's out there. His character died in 2007. There's like this viral website. I don't know what it's called or what the URL is. You can look it up, I'm sure. But there's a website featuring like a documentary about the Battle of 2007. I think is what it's called. Or it wasn't a Battle of 2007. It was in 2007. Like in the trailer, one of the lines in the trailer is, and I actually wrote down because I thought it was pretty cool plot wise. Let's see, ID4, directed by Roland Emmerich, starring Liam Hemsworth, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, and fucking everybody else from the original.
Yeah.
What's the line that I wrote down here? Oh, it's not even in the movie. It's just something in the trailer. They used their tech to strengthen Earth. In the in-universe world, Will Smith was testing this new plane hybrid, jet slash spaceship. There was a mechanical malfunction and it blew up and he died.
What a shitty way to go.
Well, they did that because that fool didn't want to come back. he thought he was
Well,
too big for it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah, fuck him.
yeah, basically. So
So he
I
picks
thought that was kind of
Deadshot. Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Whatever. But I just thought that was funny. I really don't. Will Smith at this
Yeah.
point is just
Yeah.
like meh.
Yeah.
If it's not Fresh Prince, I don't care. If it's not I'm the Rapper, he's the DJ, I just don't care. But it's funny too though, because the kid that played his son in Independence Day, wasn't that the same kid that played Nicky in Fresh Prince? It was like the same actor.
Was it? I didn't know that.
I think it's the same little kid. And I just thought it's funny because, like 3 days ago, it was that actor's birthday, and he's like, 29 or 30 or something. So he's age appropriate for this character. But
That
no,
would be
it's like they just
interesting.
wanted to cut all ties with Will Smith.
Wow.
Like, yeah, nope. So they got this new guy and this new kid to play him. I don't know who he is or anything, but
Wow.
yeah, man, the cast on this movie is kind of impressive. It's everybody, dude. Even fucking Brent Spiner's back.
Really?
Brent
I didn't know
Spiner,
that.
Vivica
How the
Fox,
fuck are they gonna pull that off?
Judd Hirsch is back.
Huh? Wow.
Yeah,
I saw that. I saw him in there.
Yeah. Of course,
I'm looking
Liam
forward.
Hemsworth and
It'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
White Shredder's in it. William
White
Fichtner.
Shredder.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I just I really liked it. I thought it was a little grimdark. They're really, really going for the whole, it's like now everything's serious and dark, and they really played up on the nostalgia of having the Independence Day speech, that Bill Pullman gives in the first movie, played in the trailer. I used to have that shit memorized too. Like Independence Day was a big geek thing for me as a kid. Like that was awesome. So I'm kind of excited. I'm a little underwhelmed by the trailer.
Sure. But it's not going to be your major, big, super blockbuster ass Force Awakens kind of thing. It's going to be like, it's out, let's go see it. But man, I think Bill Pullman looks fucking awesome as like Grizzly Adams, man. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Great, dude.
He reminds me of like his transformation from Independence Day to Independence Day 2 reminds me of the transformation of somebody from that other trilogy to this trilogy.
I knew you were going to say that, yeah.
And it's not who you're thinking either. But, yeah. Or maybe it might be who you're thinking, I don't know.
Probably, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but, so that's a thing. I want to go see it. It looks pretty cool. But again, it's just Independence Day 2.
Yeah.
All right. So moving forward, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Really? No, you got Harry Potter.
I'm very meh. I'm good with Harry Potter. I'm all right with Harry Potter, but it's a spinoff. Spinoffs can be kind of meh. You have to go into it just expecting it to be. Don't expect the magic from what the Harry Potter movies is kind of where I'm going with that. Or I wouldn't expect it. I don't expect the charm of the Harry Potter movies. I expect it to be just kind of a cash grab.
Oh, see, I'm on the opposite end, at least in terms of this, for a couple different reasons, and some of these reasons are kind of based on hope, and I'll get into that in a minute, but it's because, this is, not only was this written, or is this based off the book by J.K. Rowling, she actually wrote the screenplay, so this is her screenplay debut. So she is able to work in whatever magic she wants to, I think, from the Harry Potter world. Not only that, but it's produced and directed by David Yates, who did direct the last two Harry Potter flicks.
Yeah.
And not only that, but watching the trailer, to me, it seems to have the same kind of charm. And it's sort of like, and when I say that some of these, some of this speculation or positive speculation is based on hope, is because this trailer made me feel like I was back in the world of Harry Potter. And if they can pull that off with this, then I'm hoping that now we're in a time and place where spin-offs such as Rogue One or the young Han Solo movie can sort of capture that same thing. It needs the same quality. It needs the same sense of, it needs basically everything that's the opposite of what you said, because you're absolutely right. Any spin-off movies are usually kind of cash grabby, sort of second rate. They use, I guess stereotypically they might use, lesser actors, lesser production values, but this looks like they're throwing a lot of money at it, a lot of quality at it, and I'm hoping that echoes and resonates through, not just Star Wars, but even like the Hunger Games, spin-offs and whatever, if they do any Star Trek spin-offs, anything like that. I hope that it's just like we've gotten to a better plateau in terms of sequels. Hopefully we'll get there with spin-offs as well.
Yeah, and I'm not pulling the hipster vibe with it. I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to suck or anything like that. I'm just kind of saying from, my feel of it, it just felt kind of like, okay, it's a little cash grabby. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be guarded about it.
That's cool. Yeah, that's fair enough too. Because also not only that, but like there wasn't a lot of information given through the trailer. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
It really is a very much.
It was very bare, yeah.
So, but I never read the book though either, so I don't
Nor
know.
did I.
Yeah.
True.
So who knows? But I don't know. It looks pretty cool. And then let's see here. Let's go with X-Men, and then that way we can get into the suit du jour that will be Star Trek Beyond.
Yes.
X-Men Apocalypse, man. How do you feel about the new trilogy that this is going to be the third one of? First class.
I'm happy.
Are you?
I am happy. Yes.
Yeah.
You see, I have a vehement hatred for X3.
Yeah.
It was a fail on the level of Phantom Menace and Spider-Man 3. I was cool with X-Men 1 and 2. I was like, yeah, X-Men 1 great, X-Men 2 all right.
Yeah.
Then X-Men, and they teased Dark Phoenix, so I was like, okay, this could become Dark Phoenix Saga.
Yeah.
And then they shit all over it.
Yeah.
Messy, poopy, 2-year-old fucking throwing their, shit everywhere shit.
Yeah.
It was ugly.
It's directed by Brett Ratner. I hate Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
mean, it was an abomination of everything it could have been.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad, and when First Class came around, I was like, okay, at least it's not X3. And then I liked it. I was like, oh, wow, this is really good, excellent. So it picked up, they recovered very well. And I knew that, okay, well, this is going to be the new generation. This is going to be the new, set of trilogy. So, there's real potential here to do right. And then Days of Future Past, there's a lot of criticism about it. I think it was brilliant. I think they did a wonderful job washing away the bad fucking taste of X3 and even to a minor extent some of X2 and Wolverine Origins and, a lot of the garbage that they got wrong. They were smart enough to reboot.
Yeah.
And, and I was very, very, very happy with that. I mean, you killed Cyclops, you fucking retards.
Yeah, seriously.
Really. But anyway.
Did you see the Rogue cut? Like
no.
It's it's like a director's cut where they because like when they filmed the movie they were gonna have a whole subplot featuring Rogue. Like Anna Paquin did a lot of filming on that movie.
Really?
And and for time and just for whatever reasons they cut out her entire like subplot. It wasn't a lot. It was like 12 minutes worth of footage or 15 minutes worth of footage. But it's like in movie time spread out through the whole movie. It's kind of a lot. And they reinserted it. If you can go, you can find it now. It's an official like release. It's on sale or whatever. But yeah, it's called Days of Future Past, the Rogue Cut. I haven't seen it either, so I don't know how it fares against Days of Future Past. But from what I understand, it's really, really cool, and it sort of gives a lot more weight to the character Rogue, and it sort of reestablishes sort of the fact that she is sort of a huge player in the whole X franchise, at least in terms of the movie. So that's something that we should probably check out too. That looks pretty cool. Yeah, Brenya.
That's Brenya.
Nice.
Yeah. She's making a guest appearance.
There you go.
Cat Brenya.
If only she had peanut butter in her mouth and was talking, like moving her lips, so it's
that would be awesome.
Coming out. Yeah.
Hello, Dwayne.
but no, I love the Bryan Singer flicks, and then I hate X3. But when they got Matthew Vaughn for First Class, I thought that was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant because that dude really, I haven't seen a movie of his that I haven't liked,
Yeah.
So him, and then passing the torch back to Bryan Singer, I was a little worried because it seems like after Superman Returns and after Valkyrie, Bryan Singer was kind of in a funk and he was coming back to like his comfort zone, and I was like, well, maybe this is just going to be him sort of, spewing out something that might be easy for him, but no, Days of Future Past was amazing, and I'm really looking forward to X-Men Apocalypse, man.
As am I. I've been a lifelong X-Men fan, big fan of all the graphic novels, the comics and the graphic novels together. The old 80s stuff, and they do they've done a really good job of kind of grabbing the old 80s feel, and they're going back to it with X-Men Apocalypse, which I'm really excited for, because it gives us the kind of original team with Cyclops and Jean Grey, and I'm guarded. You know how I feel about Famke Jensen. I hate her with a fiery passion. She's disgusting. But I like Sophie Turner. Sophie Turner.
Let's see. Sophie Turner, yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't remember her last name, but yes, I love Sophie Turner. She's great in Game of Thrones, and
Oh, is that who that is?
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
cool.
it's she's a Stark.
Oh, okay. Oh, well.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking she doesn't quite have the look that I would want for a Jean Grey, but I'm picky, so we'll see how that kind of goes. But as far as as an actress and can she pull the role off? Hells to the yeah, she's really great. I'm looking forward to seeing what she can do. And then they've got other featured people in there like Psylocke. I mean,
Yeah, like that's
they're doing
badass.
Psylocke properly.
And Jubilee looks
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Like I guess you can get away with that look because it's set in the 80s, but just the fact
Yeah.
that like that's pretty badass, dude.
Yeah,
And
she's
then,
not a vampire.
Yeah. And of course the elephant in the room is Apocalypse. I mean, there was a lot of complaints about how he looked when his first picture was released or whatever, but I mean, it's Oscar Isaac. So looking past, the superficial, just sort of, looks of what
Really
the guy
got it for that guy right now.
Yeah, hey, he's might not be Mexican, he's Guatemalan, but he's still a Latino. So that dude has my support no matter what.
Gotcha.
But I mean, yeah, he's Poe Dameron, and now he's Apocalypse. You know what I mean? And he's obviously, just even from what we've seen of him in the trailer, he's channeling two entirely different characters. So that dude has range. And what he's doing with Apocalypse just looks really, really cool. I mean, without making him a total motion capture character, I don't know what people might have been expecting in terms of the look of Apocalypse. You know what I mean? And obviously, just like what they did with Zod, and even Iron Man, that whole suit's not practical. Like they have a chest piece and like some arm gauntlet kind of things, and the rest is CG, and that's what they're doing. That's what they had been planning to do with him from the beginning. It's he's purple on set because they have to color correct him, against the green or blue screen, post production and stuff like that. And in this trailer, you can totally see what they did with the jaw. I think a lot of people are really weirded out by the fact that he has, a jaw, and then, I mean, it's Oscar Isaac's nose. I mean, the dude has that shaped nose. There's nothing wrong with it, but what can you do?
Yeah.
And so they got the CG enhancements on his jaw and on the suit and everything, and he looks really cool. I like that they're actually keeping they're not like galactifying him, the way they did in the old Fantastic Four movies. It's like he's Apocalypse, he has the same powers, the reality or altering powers, and it's just it looks badass. Like it looks really, really cool. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and yeah, he's not, you're not going to get that look from the comics or the 90s cartoon. I kind of think that was kind of burned in some people's mind that had that kind of look, and
I know
roll with
that
it.
some people have even they posted pictures of well, if this guy can do it for cosplay, for $100, why couldn't they do this for the movie? I was wondering, because that cosplay might look really cool when the dude is standing around and posing, but nobody can act in that.
Yeah.
The suit can't emote. You know what I mean? It's just it's not practical.
Exactly.
So,
and
yeah.
what have you?
Yeah, but it looks really cool. I love that these X-Men movies are just getting darker and darker. This is one franchise that I don't like to see any franchise go grim dark, but this is one that I like. X-Men, the darker it gets, sort of the better it gets, because a lot of the best storylines are from the 80s and 90s
Big
when
time.
that was the thing. So
if they could do the Dark Phoenix saga properly, that would just top. That would be it right there.
I would hope that maybe since they got these new characters to be those legacy characters for this new first movie, maybe this movie is the end of the X-Men First Class trilogy and the beginning of a Dark Phoenix sort of saga trilogy.
Oh, we could hope.
Yeah.
Although they are saying Hugh Jackman's pretty much finito, so you either have to get somebody else to do Wolverine or go on without him, which they probably won't go on without him.
Yeah.
And I could not see him not being a part of the Dark Phoenix saga, because that's a pretty big deal. So
I mean, I would honestly at this point recast him. You know what I mean? If Hugh Jackman doesn't want to do it, as much as I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, I mean, there's a ton of other actors out there. I'm alright with that.
Yeah.
Recast him, because I feel the character needs to be there for the Dark Phoenix saga. You can't do it
for sure.
But where's he in this? Where's he in this trailer?
He's not, and that's
Yeah.
kind of been a big question lately. That he did release something saying that Apocalypse was going to be his last movie as Wolverine. So he said this one's my last.
Well, he's doing the third Wolverine solo movie though.
Oh,
Yeah, so I don't know if that's...
okay, maybe he went back on it.
Yeah, he's gone back like 2 or 3 times. Because he was saying that that Days of Future Past was going to be his last movie, and then before that he had said that the Wolverine was going to. So who knows?
Yeah.
But either way, God bless him.
He'll be playing Wolverine until he's 86. Really.
Why not use him as an age-appropriate old man Logan?
That's what I was just thinking. That's
like,
exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
That would work perfectly. That's the current Wolverine, right? Well, the current Wolverine right now.
Yeah.
I can't stand the way Marvel is right now. So, whatever. There's 200, 300, 400 Wolverines.
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Obviously, that's how it's always going to be though with comics. Yeah. But yeah, so that I'm looking forward to X-Men Apocalypse. And all right, so I fucking loved the Star Trek Beyond trailer. How cool of a trailer was that?
That was great. I was totally in love with that, man. It was amazing. I mean, I thought it was a little disjointed to be rocking the Beastie Boys during the whole thing, but hey, man, it worked. It worked really well. It was a good callback to, the first movie, and it was fun. It really was.
Yeah.
I totally dug it.
I like that it wasn't just like thrown in there to call back the movie. It's part of the plot, obviously, from the trailer. We know that. And it sort of connects back to Kirk as a character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, as pandery-ish as it is, at least they sort of have a half-assed reason as to why it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I thought it was cool, man. This is one thing that I sort of thought when I first saw it was that it's almost kind of like Star Wars was always cooler than Star Trek because Star Trek was very, poetry and literature, and we all watched the opera, and Star Wars was like, nah, we're going to go have some fun. And, we hadn't seen, obviously, The Force Awakens when this trailer dropped, but it was like, oh, this is Star Wars, it's back, and it's majestic, and it's awesome, and it's classic, and it's fun. But then comes Star Trek with a fucking Beastie Boys music video, essentially.
Yeah.
Is Star Trek kicking Star Wars in the balls here? Like, is Star Trek funner than Star Wars now?
It was the polar opposite of how it used to be. Star Wars was fun and great, and Star Trek was really serious and thought-provoking, and now, from what we've seen, Star Wars is very, cerebral and hardcore, and Star Trek is like, let's go out and fucking get drunk and party, man.
Yeah.
So it's definitely crazy. I won't say, I don't think I could say Star Trek is cooler than Star Wars just yet.
No, yeah, yeah. It was
they'll throw some cerebral at you. They have to. There's always an underlying plot behind or some sort of underlying thought behind a Star Trek flick, or there should be. So
especially, I mean, Simon Pegg wrote this, and he's pretty smart. He's got some cred.
Yeah. Simon Pegg definitely. He's a Trekkie. He keeps to, or Trekker, how the fuck ever you want to peg it. I grew up calling
them Trekkies. I would call myself a Trekkie.
Exactly.
But whatever.
But he knows his shit, and so he's definitely the guy you want to have penning it, for sure.
Yeah.
That being said, it felt like it was almost too fun, too disjointed to actually take seriously. You were like, okay, this is some awesome imagery, some awesome shit, but what the fuck is going on? I did see they're still trying to draw parallels, to the movies, which is okay, kind of. I don't think they did the greatest of jobs with Khan, and for a lot of different reasons. Yeah. It was a decent flick, but it was kind of screwy. And I think they're doing the same thing again, because if I saw this right, and I'm a little kind of weirded out about it, but the Enterprise gets destroyed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've seen that before.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, it's drawing a parallel to the third movie, so here we go again.
That's hilarious, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just from sort of what I could piece together, it seems, though, that that's not the conclusion. I think that's the beginning. I think this whole thing is like, they don't have a ship, they're stranded. He even says in the movie, we've got no ship, no crew. Yeah. And I think it's just sort of putting them in a place where they haven't been yet in this series of movies. But yeah, other than that, there's not really any sort of cohesion or any kind of plot that we can see as of yet. I mean, I like the idea. I like the idea of stripping them down, making them a scrappy ragtag team. Sure, I love that. Voyage Home was amazing because of yeah, Voyage Home.
The whales?
Yeah, it's a Voyage Home, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That's one
Don't
of my
get me
favorites.
started on that
I love
one.
that
Go ahead.
movie.
I
But
hate it with a passion.
Yeah, well, you were what, 35 by the time that movie came out?
Son of a bitch.
But anyways, I love that they're like a scrappy ragtag crew. I just want to know
Double
a little bit
dumbass
more.
on you.
A double
Yeah.
dumbass on you.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I totally dug the feel. I just kind of thought, okay, he's kung fuing with some hot chick, and then there's a scaly dude that may or may not be a Cardassian. All right, that's really the crux of it, other than run explosions.
Drive a 1940s motorcycle, in the 23rd century.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
that was funny. Do you think that they would put, since Idris Elba, he's the main villain, do you think they would put him behind all that makeup and stuff? Do you think he's that Cardassian looking guy? Or do you think, we just haven't seen him?
It hadn't occurred to me to this point, but that's possible. If not him, if not the guy we saw, then possibly another one,
Yeah.
but scaly as well. you
Yeah,
know?
like maybe just holding him for another trailer or something.
Right.
Yeah.
A little more badass, because that guy was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, it was really
I'm
just
angry.
for all we know, that might not even be a featured villain. That could have just been some featured extra or something.
Some
The
pissed
camera
off
was
dude.
on him.
Yeah.
He looks very much like what would pass as a Cardassian in this universe. So like
I would think, except for the little spoony thingy on their forehead.
yeah, yeah. And
But-
Cardassians have hair too, right?
Yeah, they do.
So maybe not.
I don't know.
Who knows? But it looks very Star Trek-y regardless. That the female villain, man, she looks awesome. Played by, let's see here, Sophia Butella.
Okay.
Butella.
Sure.
Butella. I don't know which she's been in, but she looks pretty badass. And what I gathered from the trailer was that they start off antagonistically and then they end up becoming friends.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But
Looks kind of like Aura Singh, maybe.
yeah,
Tiny bit.
yeah, I think a lot actually.
Yeah. Should
Yeah.
be interesting.
So, where do you fall in on the whole this isn't Trek? Because that's a controversy. Like Simon Pegg today released some statements about like that was just a trailer. There's a lot more Star Trek to it than just than that. There is definitely going to be some cerebral, some looking beyond and some bigger ideas. This is just a trailer. Where do you fall into the camp of people that are saying that this is a horrible Trek?
Well, I agree and I disagree at the same time. It's definitely not classic Star Trek. It's not the Star Trek of the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It just isn't.
Right.
There's not really much getting around it. You see, and we were talking about the difference between Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Wars was an epic space fantasy. It was supposed to have the battles and the craziness, the fantasy to it. It was supposed to be beyond our understanding, but with a religious feel to it. And Star Trek was the polar opposite of it. That was the Star Wars is about a feeling inside. Star Trek is about a feeling in your head. If Star Wars is a feeling in your heart, Star Trek is a feeling in your head.
Nice. That's a good way of putting
you.
that. Yeah. Well said.
So, and that's exactly it, and you have to have both of those feelings to cognitively function. And, that feeling in your head with the new Star Trek just really isn't kind of there. I think they're trying to go more with the heart feeling. And it's not really working as well as Star Wars would work, but the political fierceness of the original Star Treks, all of them, the social aspect of it, Star Trek was it was a reflection on who we were as a people, it brought out a mirror for us. This was a mirror for people, for humanity.
Where we all had goatees.
We all had goatees, yes.
Sorry.
You and I do.
So that means we're the evil us's.
Yeah, we're the evil us's.
Not the
We're the evil
robot
robot
us's.
us's.
We're not the
Nice.
evil robot us's. No, we're Station in that universe.
Yeah, Station. Party on, dude. No, but it was a mirror for us. That's what Star Trek was, and it's not that anymore. Now it is about adventure and fun and this and that. And they do have a good little underlying theme here and there. Be good to your planet, or some asshole will blow it up, or I don't know, fucking Khan, whatever
that was. Yeah.
social thing that was. There had to be some kind of don't fuck with super people. I don't know.
That's a great life lesson, though. I mean,
it is. It really is.
If that's what they're preaching, then I'm following that.
Right. So it doesn't delve as deeply into our minds as it does. There's a lot of talk out there. Oh, well, that's TV for you. TV can do that because you've got X amount of episodes to do that in. And
that's kind of a cop out, though.
It really is a cop out because look at the movies. The movies did the same thing.
Yeah.
They as hammy and kind of quasi shitty as some of the original cast did in their movies. Yeah. There was definitely fucking
The Voyage Home. That movie was a fucking poster for Save the Whales.
It was.
And it was, I know that you don't like it, and there's some people that don't like it, there's some people that love it. But yeah, it was a fun, rollicking adventure, and it was still sort of Save the Whales, you know what I mean? It was still very eco-centric and.
And it was its one redeeming quality, too, so, yeah, there you have it. But yeah, the search for Spock, the humanity of it all, the motion picture fucking expanding out beyond.
Picture, yeah, that was, but see, I think that's sort of, that one I think is it's almost it was cerebral to its own detriment. You know what I mean? Like that's why they revamped it for the second and going forwards. That's why Wrath of Khan. But I mean, yeah, you look at Wrath of Khan, you look at Search for Spock. Even as bad of a movie, and I will say unabashedly, it's the first Trek movie I ever saw in the theater. But Star Trek V, that's a bad movie. I loved it as a kid when I went to go see it, but that movie is horrible. However, they were talking about, religion and what it meant to meet God, what it meant to believe in a God, they essentially met God. Granted, it was a weird alien being that was
head thingy,
whatever. Yeah. But I mean, they were going on some really, really sort of head trippy, deep things. And, I mean, you got to respect that about Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what you go to Trek for.
Exactly, and it continued on. It didn't just stop there. 6 was the whole be good to your neighbor kind of thing with the Klingons. Yeah. Then you had Generations, which was the humanity of Data, and Picard with his whole morbid fucking whole family died kind of thing.
His fixation on that shit, yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
But but it also was a very emotional kind of thing. So it was the whole my life is this sort of thing. And then, you move on. Okay, First Contact was a little bit less, but it was the temptation of the flesh. But each one had its own, cerebral kind of feel to it. And then we look at the new ones and we're like, okay, the first one, cerebral feel, I guess, be true to yourself, maybe?
Yeah,
it was all about Kirk.
It's very much a character study and it's a hero's journey. Which I can see as being cerebral. It's just it wasn't on a scope as big as you would expect from Star Trek. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The second one, I mean, man, I mean that's it was unfortunately it was unfocused. I mean, that's another one where it's like just as a movie, it's kind of not that great. So
it was just a watered down kind of attempt at taking the same theory behind the Wrath of Khan and using it.
Yeah.
It just didn't do too much. I mean, it was fun and pretty, but it just didn't do much more other than that. So take it for what it's worth.
Well,
but hey,
I mean, that being said, I mean, considering that I guess just in this conversation we've established that at least our line of thinking is that the first one was not big in scope, however cerebral it might have been. The second one was kind of a muddled mess, and now this one we get this trailer. I mean, what does that say to fans of cerebral Next Generation, Deep Space Nine? Star Trek 2 and 3, what does that say to them?
That says pray, hope. Maybe, Simon Pegg's writing it. He's a Trekkie. We've got some chance at it, maybe.
Yeah.
But you know what? That does bring to fact that there is some good news on that front.
Mm-hmm.
And that's they are actually going to be doing another Star Trek TV show.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if the movies don't fucking do it for you, maybe they're gonna bring, some element. They've released very, very, very little information on it, so we really don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, like I think it's still like in pre-production. They haven't even started casting or anything yet.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. So I mean, we'll see, but hopefully that would be a good venue. If you're not cool with the crotch rocket kind of thrill a minute Star Trek on the movie screen, then we can go to our nice, cool cerebral. Hopefully from the original timeline.
I was just
the
gonna say, like, which do you think it would be a part of?
I would hope. They have been trying. Michael Dorn has been trying
Yeah.
for years to get a Worf
A
show.
Worf show going on,
Yeah.
which I would watch the fuck out of, man. Wouldn't that
Would
be awesome?
Hells
Yeah, yeah.
I would totally go for that. So I would hope that if they did that or just kind of kept it in the 24th century, I always wanted to see. Man, I wanted to see a Deep Space Nine movie so badly
That
after
would be so cool.
the end of Deep Space Nine. They brought it back in the novels, and they've kind of done some retconning of how things go and expanding on it. But I'd love to see Cisco and Janeway and all of them kind of hanging out in the same place. That'd be cool.
Yeah, Janeway would Janeway is one of my favorites, man. Janeway was
love
pretty
Kate
awesome.
Mulgrew.
Yeah, yeah.
The cool thing about Kate Mulgrew is she's still working and she's still kicking ass, dude.
She's on Orange is the New Black, right?
Yeah.
I need to watch that. I've never seen it, but I need to check it
Oh,
out.
it's great, dude. Oh, you got to see that. What kind of fucking nerd are you? That's great, man. You got to see
I
that.
haven't seen that. I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I haven't seen Walking Dead.
I know.
Yeah.
You lost major points, man.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I watched Doctor Who. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah. You get those points back because I have a hard time with Doctor Who. I struggle through it.
That's a topic for another podcast.
Yes, yes.
Actually, that's a really good. There you go. The germination for the next episode right here. We're going to talk about what we haven't seen, what we have seen there. But anyways, yeah, man. I mean, I would really love to see as much as I felt. I think in our first episode we were talking about how like Star Trek needed a kick in the ass. As much as that has happened, I would kind of like to now see that it goes back to being a little bit bigger in scope. I want to see that. I mean, honestly, in a perfect world, I'd like to see a blend of the Chris Pine sort of swashbuckling Trek, mixed with a little bit of the Next Generation, kind of.
I would too.
I would like to see a balance there, but I mean, if this is the kind of Trek that we're going to be getting, granted, just from this first teaser, are you cool with that?
Yeah, no, I'll still watch it anyway because it was fun. It is, popcorn for the mind or popcorn for the libido, I suppose. It gets you going.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I would see anyway, no matter what. But, will I walk out with that sense of like, I don't think I've seen Into Darkness since I watched it in the theater. So once again, it's not something that would, I lied. I think I've seen it one time since. But it's not something that would stick with me the way that I've watched. Once a year I sit down and I watch Voyager. Once a year I sit down and I binge watch Deep Space Nine. I'll go back to the original stuff that really captured, a lot of the cerebral things that I like to think about, and revisit it. And that's not something, if they're only interested in making their sales and, be done with it after that, then, I'll watch it and I'll be done with it and it just won't have a place in my heart.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. That's sad, as a fan and as a nerd, but it's fair enough as just a consumer because, yeah, I own Into Darkness. I think I've seen it twice on the Blu-ray that I bought, and I saw it once in the theater, so I've seen that movie maybe. I might not even have seen it twice on the Blu-ray. I might have just watched it the one time, but right. I don't remember much from that movie.
You've seen it 3 times and you don't remember much from it.
Yeah, it's like what you said, coming full circle, man. It's about the moments that you remember, and that movie doesn't remind me. I mean, I remember the gleaming white of the Enterprise, and those memories are interchangeable between the first and the second movie. I remember the lens flare.
You know what?
What?
It just occurred to me.
What's that?
I don't remember seeing a single lens flare.
Yeah. No. Spoilers.
Fuck you.
Yeah, no, there was no lens flares in the
Sorry, there's a spoiler. No lens flares.
So, yeah, that's true. All right, well, there we go. Yeah, we full circle once again.
We did.
All right, man. And I think lastly, we were gonna try to do Ask a Nerd, but we really didn't get any questions. I think we did settle though. James Rowling again, our friend, went ahead and we're gonna go with his name. So he gets platinum. No, I'm sorry, a latinum plated, official autographed by Poe Dameron and Watto's wife. Nerd lives matter nothing.
Enjoy it.
But yeah, so I guess we're gonna dub
Displayed
the
in good health.
yeah, displayed in good health and in good lighting,
Yes.
or bad lighting if you don't want to see Watto's wife. But
Same thing.
I think we're gonna call the section when it comes back, we're gonna call it Nerd Questions Matter, which we both thought was really clever. So
Yeah.
when you hench people actually decide to speak up and ask us some questions, we'll
Really.
back.
Come on.
But
You can participate.
please do, fuckers. We're busting our humps here.
Right.
But yeah, you wanted to talk about your comics, right? What you read this week. I am curious because I don't read comics, and now I'm just reading them or living them vicariously through you.
Yeah, this week, and I kind of want to do this regularly. Just what I read this week. Nothing really much came out on my pull list. I did get. What did I say? I got.
Hold on. Let's go back a second. You can't call it a pull list. You can't call it a pull list because you get your comics fucking digitally. It's they're fucking downloaded to whatever device you use. Nobody's pulling. You used to do this. How can you respect this when you used to literally pull comics off of the stacks, put them in people's boxes, long boxes?
Listen to this motherfucker reading me the riot act because I'm fucking calling it the pull list.
It's not a fucking pull list.
Call it what I want, man.
You fucking touch screen which fucking icon you want, and then it's downloaded. You don't even feel the pulp on your fingertips anymore. Anyways, what did you
Dwayne's official
digitally
pull list-
scan today?
Dwayne's official pull list for this week included the Mighty Thor #2. They started the Thor comics with the new and improved female Jane Foster-looking Thor, and it's going very well. I'm totally enjoying it. You know, there's a big giant war spreading across all of the realms, and Malekith is involved, and he's being a dick, and lots of fun stuff. And they've got the Roxxon Corporation teaming up with Malekith, and it's just fucking craziness. All the while, Odin is becoming a huge asshole and trying to kill Jane Foster because she usurped Mjolnir. So she's safe nowhere, really. Plus, she's got a whopping case of cancer that she's dying from, because every time she turns into Thor, the chemo that was trying to kill the cancer cells gets expelled. So
wow, that's
every time she turns into Thor, she continues to die.
Cool.
Yeah.
So and this is only 2 issues in?
Yeah.
Fuck, I might need to start picking this up.
It's pretty good. Some of it was established in the 8-issue series before that, though, when she first became Thor. Okay. And then it carried on after all that Secret Wars garbage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah,
it sounds like it's pretty cool either way.
It is. I'm really enjoying it. And then the other one I read this week was Justice League 47, which it's really convoluted and disjointed. I don't know. They're kind of they're jamming together the Dark Side War Dark Side, whatever you want to pronounce.
That guy,
yeah, that guy. They're jamming that together with a little bit of like pre-crisis sort of crap going on. It's really kind of strange. There's a lot of Darkseid's kind of being an asshole and invading Earth, and at the same time they've got the Anti-Monitor. And that whole crew, Mobius chair, and what's the dude's name that sat on the Mobius chair? I can't fucking remember at this moment.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's all crisis kind of stuff from back in the day, and they're kind of smushing it all together. It kind of makes me think that they're wanting to do like a crisis event, like Crisis on Infinite Earths.
They do that like every other year now.
I know, but actual Crisis of Infinite Earths, not fucking just rebooting everything like they normally do. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Now they're everybody in the Justice League are actually gods because they were given the power of gods. So Batman's a god and Superman's a god.
That doesn't sound appealing at all.
Flash is a god. It's very disjointed and convoluted. Before this whole story arc started, it was much tighter and much better and cleaner, and it had actual storyline. I was digging it a lot more then, and now it's a struggle to get through, and I'm just kind of trying to get through this story arc to hopefully see if it goes back to something a little bit better before giving up on it completely.
Interesting.
So, yeah, that's this week.
Nice.
Yeah, there wasn't anything. Next week, I think, is Buffy is going to be coming out.
What is this, season 10 now? Or are they still
Yes.
doing seasons on Buffy?
Yes, they are. And I
Okay.
believe it is season 10 now. Yeah.
What issue is it?
22, 21, 22,
Wow.
something like that.
I really need to catch up. I
Yeah.
have all of season 8, but I haven't read anything from season 9 onwards.
9's rough to get through for the most part, but 10's really been coming along very well. They've grounded it down a lot more. 8 was very
Yeah.
just kind of everywhere, and then after 8 they started going, okay, we need to kind of chill out a little bit, so they kind of made 9 a little bit more grounded, but not as much, and then 10 they tightened it up big time to where it's down to a crew, down to very basic stuff. So
Still same like TV writers, or still sort of, is it still executive produced by Joss Whedon?
yes.
Is it really executive produced by Joss Whedon though? Like,
He doesn't really have much of a hand in it, to
Really?
be perfectly honest. From what I've seen, he barely does anything. But you know who was writing for a while? Nicholas Brendan was writing issues for a while.
is that before he got
I was
drunk
gonna
and
say
beat his
before he
woman?
became a fucking thug or something, man. Went to criminal school or something.
What
crime school.
happened with that guy, man?
He fell apart actually after Buffy. I don't know how much you know about this, but he hit the sauce big time,
Yeah.
and he spent many, many years. That's why he never did anything afterwards. He just went Drunky McGee.
And he's like
Yeah.
Criminal Minds a lot. I
Yeah.
think, like, or some. I don't know. I saw a couple
Well,
episodes.
recently.
Holy shit. Oh, was
Yeah,
it
recently.
Yeah.
Was it? I think. I don't know. He disappeared for a long, long time because he had to go to rehab and shit because he was, super drunky. And then he started making a comeback in the last couple of years, man, doing really well. He got out of that and, started getting his acting back up and doing shit and just, I guess, reverting back to shittiness now.
That sucks.
I don't know.
I wonder if he's still going to be at Alamo City Comic Con this year. Or next year. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to meet him, not just because he's a Buffy fan, but now it's just I want to be like, bruh,
Yeah, what's up, man?
what's up, dude? You want a 40? Let's go hang out behind the auditorium and just
Right.
go drink and throw firecrackers at cats and stuff.
Beat people up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so
Yeah,
he was writing Buffy for a while then.
Yeah, he wrote a few issues, very Xander-based issues, and James Marster was writing as James Marsters actually wrote a Spike series, I think, or
Cool.
he wrote something for Spike, and Juliet Landau wrote something for Drusilla.
Cool.
They all get into fucking writing the comics,
But
man. It's crazy.
was it good, or was it just sort of celebrities writing and the caliber of celebrities writing?
I didn't read Juliet Landau's. I don't know how that turned out, but James Marsters wasn't too terrible. It was very self-serving. By the
Yeah.
way, I met that dude.
I met him too. I met him. He was great. I met him. He was awesome.
It was a weird situation.
Oh, really? I was volunteering at Wizard World about 2 years ago, and I volunteered with him. Like, I was running his autograph line and stuff, and so he was really cool with me. Both mornings he came, gave me a good handshake, gave me a hug, took pictures with me. He loves the phone that I'm recording this shit on right now. He loves the fuck out of that phone.
Oh.
So, I don't know.
Well, I was typical fan at that time, so I was just some fucking nobody. And then we met. Oh boy, there's a very interesting story through all of this. Basically, we could have screwed him out of $50, but we didn't. So
What the fuck? was this like a backroom gambling session? Were you
No,
in
it
a
was at,
speakeasy with James Marsters?
no, it was at a Comic-Con in Dallas about 3 years ago, I think, 4 years ago, something like that. Yeah, no, we were gonna get pictures with him, but we didn't have any more cash.
Mhm.
So this was the cool part, He was, kind of aloof, but still he was like, well, we'll do it. And then, or it was gonna get pictures signed. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We didn't have a picture, so he signed my comic book, which was like $40.
Yeah.
And but we didn't have cash, so he was like, all right, we'll just go and get it, come back and bring it. I was like, all right, fine. So he signs our shit. We go get cash. We come back and he's gone. We come back to the table and he's gone because he had to go do something else.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh shit, he's gone. So we walk off, and we're walking around, and here comes James Marsters running up to us.
Nice.
And I was like, oh shit, he's gonna shake us down for money. And the dude, his handler,
Yeah,
whatever,
his assistant or whatever those guys
whatever,
are. Yeah.
guy with the leash.
Yeah.
He comes running up to us too, and James Marsters like, dude, where's I can't even remember the fucking room that he was looking for. He's like, where's this room, man? I can't find it anywhere. I was like, how the fuck should I know, dude? But I didn't say that, so I just give him fake directions. I'm like, yeah, you go down that way, and then you take a left.
You're such an asshole, dude. That's awesome, though.
And you find it, no problem, man. Because
This guy who fucking like 15 years ago, you were like, oh man, I want to be just like this guy. He's so awesome. He's so cool. Yeah. And now you're just giving him fake directions to.
I bleached my hair for Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I gave him totally fake directions. But as he was leaving, he was like, all right, man. I was like, hey, man, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, I gotta go. I'm like, really? Fine, whatever. And as he's walking off, his handler looks at me and is like, hey, don't you owe us $40? Fine, take it.
Nice.
I was like, all right, whatever. I still have the comic that he signed. It was one that I had written. I had written the comic, and
wow, really?
Gary, the guy Gary drew it.
Cool.
And so I still have that. But that was my Marsters experience.
That's cool. Yeah, all I got was a picture with him, and I think he signed my Wizard World volunteer shirt. So, yeah, very cool.
You didn't get to screw him over, so that's good.
Yeah. He was perfectly fine. He was really cool. He was a nice guy. He was way more friend. No, I mean I guess I could say he was way friendlier than William Shatner.
Who isn't?
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah.
He could have stabbed you in the face and been friendlier than Shatner.
Basically. But yeah, cool.
I kind of wish that I had actually tried to go meet John Delancey instead, though, because he was there that day.
That's cool. That would have been awesome, actually.
That would have been. That dude's great.
Yeah.
I think Billy T. Williams was there too. Was he? No, that was a different one. Anyway, so
Cool.
So Buffy comic.
There you go. Nice.
And I think I've got Extraordinary X-Men next week, and a couple others that I think a Transformers one, and I think that's about it.
Very cool. All right, well there we go. Those are your weekend comics. I like it. I like this. We should do that every week. Actually, you just tell me about your comics that way I don't have to
That's
spend money on.
exactly what I just said like 20 minutes ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
You have a great idea there, buddy.
So do you. In the past, we'll rewind this.
Past me.
Yeah, there you go. Past you. But all right, man. In that case, was there anything else you had in mind for this casting of pods that we do right now?
One last thing. Thanos would win, by the way. So yeah.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
If we were to ask the crazy. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's just do that. Let's go back.
We have to do it.
We do have a nerd questions matter. Actually, I believe it was James Rowling's question that we brought on. The only person to actually fucking give us anything to work with here. Let's see. His question was, if Tryon, Juggernaut, and Doomsday were in a tag team and they had to do a Falls Count Anywhere match against the Sun-Soaked Superman and World Breaker Hulk, who would win? Again, as Dwayne said, Thanos would with the gauntlet because he's just better than everybody else. But also, I don't know who the fuck World Breaker Hulk is. I don't know who Tryon Juggernaut is. I don't like Doomsday, especially if he's the fucking resurrected from Zod's DNA and this fucking
really.
Batman versus Superman shit. And Sun-Soaked Superman would just get cancer, as Grant Morrison has all told us. So, again, Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
It's Thanos with the gauntlet. So, yeah.
Unless he was going against the Enterprise in a race.
Yeah. Well, then...
No, he would still win.
Well, then maybe if Yoda was piloting the Enterprise...
If Yoda was piloting the Enterprise, I don't think that either four of these characters would have a chance because they'd all be under the influence of the Force.
Exactly.
Unless they were Yuuzhan Vong, maybe? I don't know that any of them are Yuuzhan Vong, but we don't know what dimension the Yuuzhan Vong came from, in which they traveled to the Star Wars dimension and they appeared as Yuuzhan Vong. For all we know, they could be the chipmunks from the movie dimension. And it's just to the people in Star Wars, perception is reality. They all look like horrible, monstrous beings, and they have no souls, which is why they're absent in the Force.
But they're fucking chipmunks.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer. It's the fucking chipmunks.
It's the chipmunks. There you go.
Alvin
Congratulations.
Simon, Theodore. But
do.
All right, but that was the episode this week. You any other last minute thoughts?
No, I had something, but it's gone, so fuck it.
Cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had nothing and it's gone, and that just goes to show how empty my life is. Uh, but all right, guys. In that
Fucking
case,
dark.
that was really. It went from the really funny, like quirky, like, oh, Buffy, I almost screwed over James Marsters thing, to I have nothing. But
We
all
are
right,
but empty shells of the fathomless, bottomless pit of darkness.
yeah, and that.
And
So, anyways, all right,
Adrian Dark,
guys,
ladies.
that was it, and I didn't hear what you just said because I was.
I said Adrian Dark. Adrian Dark, ladies and gentlemen.
Adrian, thank you so much. Yeah, again, so I am your host, Adrian Dark, your other host, Fate Razor, aka Watto's wife, saying thanks again for watching. On a serious note, again, the Facebook group is where everything goes down. We post everything from the YouTube channel there. A lot of videos coming out. I completed the Journey to the Spirit Awakens Christmas Spirit Awakens unboxing whatever videos. Put up a couple things regarding the Star Wars opening last night. Not only that, we are, like I said, going to have our Star Wars spoilerific, fuck ton of spoiler review up in the next couple days at some point, possibly maybe next week, who knows. Give you guys a chance to watch it and absorb it. Give us a chance to watch it again and absorb it again and laugh at how pee-pee dancing we were this episode. But in regards to not giving the spoilers, not because we had to pee. But we're gonna have that. Yeah, we're having some other stuff come up in terms of what we want to do on the channel. We're gonna be posting other videos. I've still got another book review that I'm actually working on right now. So just keep online checking the YouTube channel for that. Again, all your questions, compliments, complaints, everything are welcome. Hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Nerd Lives Matter. Gmail, nerdlivesmatter@gmail.com. The Facebook group, Nerd Lives Matter, and the YouTube channel, Nerd Lives Matter. So, all right, hit us up whenever. We are always available. Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all have a good night.